Hey, what's up again? I'm here to show how to do really effective flips on cymbals. A lot of high school lines or lines that just aren't really experienced, when they get from one position to the next, either they'll just push up, or they'll do an attempt at a flip. Maybe just one hand, or maybe it's just one of these. I'm going to show how to effectively do a real flip and how to get them very crisp and very clean and just really kick ass. And I'll show you how to go from up to down and then from position to position. Okay, so let's start at set, which I defined in one of my earlier videos. So we're starting at set, and let's flip up to vertical. What we're going to do is, I'll just show it first and I'll explain it. So to vertical, just the left hand, so the way we do that, all our hand's doing is going from here to here, eye level, and it's not moving once I get there. It's rock solid. What you're going to do is you're going to push with your thumb, you're going to push in with your thumb, and when you do that, your hand's going to swivel around on the pad. If you're not using pads, then it doesn't really matter, it'll work either way. If I'm using a pad, you're going to push in, and your hand's going to come around and up. Now it sounds kind of difficult, but it's really not, and it's not even what people would consider a flip. It's more of a rotation that the cymbal's doing. The cymbal is really rotating, and you're just going up with it. So, going up, that's all it is. Get back farther. Right hand. So together, I'll flip out on count one. We duck, 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 duck. One more time. Duck, 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 duck. And if you can see, this is going to go for all my flips that I'm going to do this whole video. When I flip, if I need to flip and be there on one, I'm going to start my flip on count one, and I'm going to end on count one. Now theoretically that's impossible, but that's what I like to strive for. That will give you the best results for any kind of flip, especially with a line of like maybe 6 or 7, or like in a college line when you have way more than you really want, maybe like 11 cymbals. If you can always keep that type of thought behind all your flips, start and you end at the same time, you'll be good to go. So count one, duck, 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 duck. I started on one and I ended on one. All right, next we're gonna flip from set to orchestral or horizontal. Now, here is one place you want to examine what is each hand doing individually. Left hand is going, and right hand is going. Left hand doesn't move at all; it just kind of flips in place really and kind of moves out. Right hand has to go up, and then you have to push down to kind of like get it right in position. So together we have. Now I do agree, I do think that this is the hardest one to flip to and not move afterwards, because it's really hard to push these together, not hit, but get to where you need to be, you know, inch or inch and a half apart. So on count one, duck, 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 duck. Almost. Duck, 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 duck. There you go. And the extra sound was just my hand hitting. My straps are a little loose. One more time. Duck, 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 duck. You can see I flipped right to orchestral. You can see exactly where all my hands are posted, where all the space in between. And then next we will flip to taps right down here. And this is really easy. This one's really fun. I enjoy it because you don't have to go very far, but you can really make it aggressive by coming out and in. And just to examine what each hand's doing, it's going here and here. Now, one big thing to remember is don't go out too far, or you will hip check yourself, and you'll be on the ground, and it really hurts. So, I'm doing on count one, or I'll do it slowly. So on count one, duck, 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 duck. One more time, duck, 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 duck. Okay, and then I guess one more position will be up to taps, up here for taps. So duck, 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 duck. One more time, duck, 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 duck. This one's kind of difficult as well because you're aiming for this angle, but you don't want to flash your nuts to the crowd or whoever you're performing for. You got to get those pinky muscles really in shape. So da, 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 da. That's just a basic flipping from set to positions. And now we don't always do that. We also have to flip back down. So from up here, this is one of the hardest things to honestly teach, is a flip down. If you can teach this, you can really teach about anything come to cymbals. One thing you might want to think about, there's a couple ways, is maybe pushing your elbow in and then flaring out, like a queen wave. If a queen was going to wave, she was going to go out. So think about that. I'm going to go out, but push the elbow in at the same time. So get this, out, and go down with the cymbal. So together it's and one other way you can think about this is pointing. This is a great way to teach kids in high school. I'm gonna point 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna point at the camera. What that does, it teaches you the right motion, and all I have to do is just go down. That really helps in getting people not to go down, then flip. I used to have a really big problem with that, and it looks really bad, is instead of flipping up here and then going down, you flip halfway down. So you've already started to pull down, then you flip. That's one thing you really got to avoid whenever you're teaching cymbals, is it's so lazy and it's so easy to do, but it looks bad. You can just tell. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. So it looks much better to go da, 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 da. One interesting thing you can tell to test your flips to see if you're really doing a great flip is, on my cymbals I have a logo HHX. If you have a logo like a Zildjian or a whatever you have a logo, put it at the back so it's facing directly away from you. When you flip up, it should be right at the top. You flip down, it should be right back there. Yeah. What this actually means is, check out the rotation that your cymbal's really doing. It's only doing a 90-degree turn. Although it looks like it's 270, it's really just going 90. So that's one way you can test your flips. Okay, so we can get up and down. From here, sometimes you might want to do what we call an inward flip from orchestral, because this is kind of awkward and it's hard to clean. An inward flip would involve you pushing down with your thumbs and going in. Here's a great way to think about the inward flip is, I'm down here, I'm going to flip up. That's the exact same thing you do right here. Except when you go up, just go down. So you use the exact same principles here that you would to flip up. Push in, elbows out, but just move your hands down. Hope that makes sense. So you apply the exact same principles, you just move your hands counterintuitively, really. And you can even do an inward flip up here. It just kind of looks a little weird. That's great for right here. Because out is kind of a lot of extra movement. And then if I want to go from here, from orchestral or horizontal to vert, I'm just going to flip up, and that's really not too hard. And that has a lot of power to that move. That move is very strong, and it shows that you really know what you're doing, I think. When I can see someone effectively a whole line go from here to here, I think they have a firm grasp of the instrument, because this takes a higher level of thinking for playing this instrument a lot longer, instead of just going from here to here, or maybe they just want to go back down and then go up to here. If you can go from here and go up to here, I can tell that you've played cymbals for a little bit and you understand what you're doing. So really, you can go from any position as long as you understand outward and inward flips. You can do whatever you want. You just can't go out to here. That wouldn't make any sense. That's pretty much how to do an effective flip. A line is really good when they can flip together. One of the worst things you'll ever see a line do is flip down. It's so easy to have extra movement down here. That's the worst thing you'll ever see a line do. A really good line, check out their flip downs, and you'll know that they're really good. Make sure they have no extra movement. That's it for flips. I'll do some release and reload stuff in the next couple coming videos, but I hope you enjoy these.